Oh, round of 16 is over, and this is a pretty dejected and flat box to box football coming at you on this Thursday night. Well, you're probably watching this on Friday, but we're recording this Thursday night. We've just witnessed Arsenal go out on penalties to Sporting Lisbon in kind of heartbreaking fashion. I'm going to let James have the floor in a second, but Aaron Ramsdale guessing right on I'm pretty sure like three or four of the penalties, but just not being able to get a hand to it or getting a hand to it and not saving it. So, not the most fun way to go out. Not a good night for Arsenal. 120 minutes under their belts, a couple of injuries here or there, deflating loss, da da da. But James and I are going to review what's happened in the Europa League. We'll touch on the Champions League as well. But James, starting with your team going out on penalties, what's your assessment of that game?
Yeah, Jack, we got what we deserved at the end, of the day, over the 210 minutes of football. Sporting Lisbon to me deserved to win. The first leg they had a chance, big chance to go 3-1, 4-1 ahead. We got the deflected goal, and today after taking the lead, I'm thinking, okay, let's just kick on and let's separate ourselves from Sporting Lisbon. But we didn't. They created chance after chance. And they should have got a goal before time. They didn't. They score arguably, possibly the goal of the season. What a finish, catching Ramsdale off his line from 50 yards out. They had an amazing chance for Marcus Edwards to actually win the game. And overall, first of all, he was great throughout both legs.
Talented kid.
Overall, I just don't think we did enough, and ultimately Sporting Lisbon deserved to win it. Big up to them. They were able to frustrate us over 210 minutes of football.
Yeah, and it's a shame. I think not just my British side, but also, the story of the season. I wanted to see Arsenal get through at least to the final of this competition. I think it makes things all the more interesting. But also, there's a very, very small part of me that is quite happy because I fancy Roma's odds against Sporting Lisbon a hell of a lot better than I do against Arsenal at the moment. So my Roma team, I believe, 0-0 over the course of the game. I did catch it, and yeah, time wasted from 20 minutes on. The most Jose Mourinho European match you've ever seen in your life. 2-0 win at home, 0-0 away from home. Real Sociedad had a man sent off. Again, Roma had chances to score the game, but it was the most. Jose Mourinho was chirping at the fourth official from the get-go. And again, I have mixed feelings about Jose Mourinho at the moment. I enjoyed watching Roma football under Paulo Fonseca and Di Francesco a hell of a lot more than I am under Jose Mourinho, to be honest. But Jose Mourinho makes you relevant, and Jose Mourinho gets you to the latter stages of these competitions. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'll take the result, and I'll kind of enjoy the spectacle if the magic happens and maybe Roma get to a Europa League final. But we'll see. Go ahead, James.
But Jack, you must understand it. You guys won the Europa Conference League last season, and we mentioned this. Could they go the Europa Conference League, Europa League, and Champions League? Again, that's obviously going to be difficult, but do I see a team beating a Jose Mourinho European side over 180 minutes of football? I find it very hard to, Jack. I really,
you know what's
really
nuts?
do.
You know what's nuts? Roma beat Juve in the league, right? Of course they do, right? Mancini scores from outside the box because of course he does, right? Then you play Sassuolo, or you play some other team that no one's ever heard of. That's no disrespect to Sassuolo. Sassuolo are a decent team, but you play some kind of no-name team. Well, Roma lose. So actually, Roma are purpose-built for doing well in the Europa League this year.
100%.
Manchester United are still in this competition. Jose Mourinho is going to have a point to prove there. Juventus are still in this competition. They're going to have a point to prove there. And James, I'll be honest with you, some of the other teams that have gone through, Roma are just straight up better than. So I do fancy Roma's chances going forward in this competition. I really do. Even if it is against a Manchester United or a Juventus, it would just be a very, very Jose Mourinho thing to do.
Give me this final right now. Manchester United versus Roma in the final. That would be a phenomenal spectacle. Jose Mourinho's never lost a European finals. So that would be something. I think he's won what? He's won two. We won two Europa Leagues, or one of them was UEFA Cup. He's won two Champions League and also the Europa Conference League. That's 5. Did he make it 6?
He might,
No.
and Eric Ten Hag might sign Lorenzo Pellegrini just after the final anyway. But let's look at just a couple of the other games. I don't want to dissect every single game. Juventus 3-0 on aggregate against Freiburg. I mean, that you've got to consider them a threat, surely. A team as big, a name as big,
Possibly
as
the favorite, Jack, overall, because you look at the quality of the team, probably the best team overall. I think the fact that Arsenal went out, I would have believed that we were the favorites. If we didn't go out, but me looking at it now, Juventus seem to be the favorites, and also Jack, for them, they're looking at it from the point of view of that we got the big points deduction right now. We might not get Champions League through the league. This might be our only way. So that's a big thing for them.
Huge motivator, and the manager and the squad will be made aware of that in no uncertain terms. Feyenoord put 7 past Shakhtar Donetsk in the Netherlands. Again, I'm not too worried about Feyenoord in the latter stages of this competition, but that's a pretty remarkable scoreline. It feels like
Jack, were they not trailing? I'm pretty sure they were trailing.
It was 1-1 in the first leg, and then 7-1 in the second leg, which is pretty insane. Again,
wow.
I don't think they need too much time, but I just thought I'd mention that kind of mad scoreline.
Incredible.
One that I do think we do need to touch on, especially for our fan base here, or our subscriber list here, viewership here. Manchester United beating Real Betis 5-1 on aggregate. Carabao Cup, EFL Cup, right, is already in the bag. Team is kind of playing better. They're always susceptible to a 7-0 drubbing, but the team is playing better. Manchester United will surely fancy themselves in this competition.
100%. Their team almost built for cup competitions at this moment in time, especially on the counter attack with the play pace they have, and Marcus Rashford doing what he does. But if you look at this game, the fact that Real Betis only scored 1 goal in 2 legs is crazy to me. Jack, they had chance after chance after chance, especially in this home leg. They created and got themselves into phenomenal opportunities in the in the 6-yard box on the break. But it was just a poor execution from a passer, shot. The fact that they weren't even able to trouble Manchester United from the point of view of get 2 or 3 goals was a little bit worrying on their side. But Manchester United through to the next round, that's all you can hope for.
And again, I don't want to disrespect these other teams, but I feel like a lot of the other teams aren't really, well, the 2 other teams aren't really worth mentioning, but I do want to touch on, I know we kind of touched on them there. James, you've watched Sporting Lisbon more than you probably have in any season of your life, based on the minutes that they've played Arsenal recently. How much of a threat are Sporting Lisbon in the latter stages of this competition?
Definitely. I'm definitely going to be a threat, but I'm looking at, you're talking about the latter stage, and I do believe that when you get to I don't think last 16, especially in Europa League, teams are concentrated, but not as concentrated as you get to the quarterfinals, semifinals. At quarterfinals, you look 2 wins here, and we're in a semi-final over over European Cup. So if you're a Roma, if you're a Man United, if you're a Juventus, you wouldn't mind playing Sporting Lisbon, because over 2 legs, you're going to believe that you can beat them. But they definitely pack a punch, especially on a counter attack with a player like Marcus Edwards there. They got player Pereira who scored that incredible goal. They got some really, really talented players.
James, we'll switch over to the big boys now, if you're happy with that. We'll switch over to the Champions League. It's no disrespect to Roma, no disrespect to Arsenal. Arsenal are obviously top of the Premier League, so they should really be in this company anyway. But James, let's talk about the Champions League results from this past week. First of all, Benfica Bruges putting 5 past Bruges, 2 from Gonzalo Ramos, 7-1 aggregate overall. Are Benfica a legitimate threat in this competition, or were they just lucky to draw against Bruges?
The fact that they finished ahead of PSG, Jack, Bruges were a side that we mentioned had that winning mentality because they always win in their league. Benfica's been top of the Portuguese league all season. They've been absolutely flying. I don't think it's an accident. They are a really good team, but when you look at the likes of, if you're a Real Madrid, if you're a Bayern Munich, if you're a Man City, you wouldn't mind playing Benfica, because the level gap, you understand from the point of view of spending power, is massive on their side. But Benfica are a threat, but not a threat to me to worry all the big teams. They would be licking their lips if they did get them, if I'm being truthfully honest.
I tend to agree with you. I think it's a lot of good, and then one or two greats, and those greats every single year will move to bigger teams, and that's just the way these kind of teams operate. Gonzalo Ramos seems to be the next name, after the likes of an Enzo Fernandez, right, who left in January. So again, unfortunately for these Portuguese teams and their fans, they can't get too attached to the better players because they're going to go quickly.
No, Gonzalo Ramos especially, he's going to get.
He'll get snapped up, especially with a slight lacking in top tier number 9 talent in world football at the moment. This could be one to take home. Chelsea, Dortmund. I actually watched this game at the pub with 2 Chelsea fans of mine. 2-1 on aggregate for this Chelsea team, and what felt like a potentially like kind of bonding moment for the whole squad, manager included. Some disallowed goals. It was an exciting one. We were out of our chairs here and there all the time. James, I hate to say it, whenever Chelsea win the Champions League, they don't deserve it. And I'm getting the feeling from this team, it's another team that does not deserve to be anywhere near this Champions League. But it's a story we've seen before. Is there any danger of the Chelsea team in its current state with a kind of unknown manager lifting this thing at the end of the season?
Jack, I'm holding my face because I'm thinking in my head, surely not.
I hope
Please,
not.
not, because you talk about a club who loves to be in disarray and pull out Champions League out their ass. Right. It's a normal thing for them. Right. We've seen it on 2 occasions. Surely not, Jack. Seriously, out of all the ones, like this is the worst team that we've seen on the Chelsea.
Right.
Surely they can't go on in like winning. But I do have, Jack, I say it's the worst team. You look at the players that they brought in, João Felix, Mudryk, some Enzo Fernandez. It's a good team.
Right.
Surely they're not good enough to win this one. But we've seen Chelsea do over and over again. I just hope not. That's all I say.
That's what I'm saying. Now look, if they play really well in the last 8 semis, great. Maybe they would deserve it. But again, based on the way they've played this season, I'm with you. I hope they don't get it, because Chelsea fans, all they care about is lifting that trophy. I haven't heard a single Chelsea fan complain about the way they played on the road to their Champions League victories. So let's just see how that one goes.
Jack, me being even an Arsenal fan, the fact that they always bring up 2, if they said 3,
oh, dude, it's a different. 3 is different.
It's not a conversation, Jack, anymore.
The blockbuster, the one everyone wants to talk about, the one that we've actually already kind of reacted to in another video. Bayern, PSG. PSG, not a single goal. 3-0 on aggregate against Bayern Munich. I mean, how much of a threat at Bayern? Did Bayern prove anything to you, or was this all about PSG being a bit lackluster?
I think the crazy thing about Bayern is that, especially in that second leg, look, the players that were coming off the bench, Jack. That's to me, that's the crazy thing. Players like Serge Gnabry, bit of Leroy Sané in there, Sadio Mane. No one wants to see Bayern Munich. No one wants to see this this team play. You mentioned Musiala and like what he's capable of and like the ability he has there. Bayern are a team no one wants to see, and I definitely don't want to see being an Arsenal fan next season.
The Spurs and Milan game we've covered in a previous video. Porto-Inter, again, a 1-0 aggregate victory for an Inter team who I don't think are much of a threat. I want to move on. Man City, favourites, bookies favourites at the moment for the Champions League at the moment. A 7-0 game against Leipzig. It's crazy how many 7s we're seeing on some of these score sheets. 5 goals from my mate, Erling Haaland. James, is this Man City's year? Or is it a nice home fixture against a slightly weaker opponent who Erling Haaland actually knows quite well?
When you look at the lineup of Champions League teams, it isn't that strong. And let's say Man City getting a Bayern or a Napoli or a Real Madrid, the rest of the other teams there, they'll fancy themselves against. You mentioned them being favourites, Jack. Man City have been favourites with Champions League, Jack, since 2008. Every single year. The bookies make them the favourites because of Pep Guardiola, because of the squad that they have. So it doesn't make a difference, favourites or not. They gotta somehow find that European look, that European favour that other teams used to get, rather the bounce here or there. The chance goes in off the post and posting when you have a player like Erling Haaland who can deliver some fortunate European moments, as he was able to do with the 5 goals there. They're definitely a threat. Am I going to call them the favourites? No.
We'll move on to, I think, the best team in the world right now. And again, maybe a bit of a hot take, but seriously, it's a team that I've been keeping my eye on. A lot of players that I really, really like in this team. Napoli, 5-0 aggregate score against Eintracht Frankfurt. Huge. I mean, in terms of just name, these are evenly matched teams. But in terms of the way each of these teams are playing, Napoli are different. Victor Osimhen and the season he's having, Kvaratskhelia is doing ridiculous things for him as well. And it's great to see somebody like Spalletti having a bit of success as well, as silly as that may seem. But James, Napoli, I mean, this is the hottest team in the world right now. This is the best team in the world right now. I don't know if I'm putting them favourites for this competition, but surely there's a threat, A, for an Italian team to win it, but James, B, Napoli are going to win Serie A. Can they do a double and win the Champions League as well?
Well, Jack, they're definitely going to win Serie A. They're like, what, 20 points clear at the top of the on top of your table, so they can possibly lose all their games for now, and they can still probably win it. That's how far ahead they are. But Jack, this is a team that I'm gonna say it right now. They're my favorites to win it. They're my pick to win it.
Wow.
You know, no team should want to play a team like this in what they have overall, and you know, you can see what they've been able to bring in. But the two players I'm gonna mention, Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia. I'm not sure if I pronounce that right, but those two players there, you know, but those two players there have just been irresistible all season, and just overall, like what they've been able to do, they've been able to beat Liverpool. What, I think it was 4-0 or like 4-1 at home this season. If you're Real Madrid, maybe a team that could trouble this Napoli team. The one team I feel like really want to stay away from Napoli is Man City. I feel like Napoli have what it takes to really knock out this Man City team, but overall they're my pick to win the Jack.
Yeah, look, and I just cannot give them the credit I want to give them, although I've seen it in enough quantity this year. Because James, I'm going to use a word, and it's called pedigree. And when we talk about pedigree,
big thing.
There's one team, and that one team drubbed Liverpool, not so much in the second leg, but massively in the first leg at Anfield. James, I can't not pick Real Madrid to win the Champions League, and I don't think I will ever pick against them until they're not in the final or the semi-final or winning the whole thing. Again, I do think Napoli are the better team at the moment and playing the better football, but when it comes to crunch time, there's one team I know that are going to deliver, and that is Real Madrid. Surely, by what we saw at Anfield, by what this team just does in this competition, you're going to take Napoli over Real Madrid, really?
As I said, the one team that I think that could really trouble, upset Napoli is Real Madrid, because I just think their understanding of knockout football, especially in Europe, is Jack. It's elite. It's elite. I was speaking to Jed, who's a big who's a big participant on the show, big Real Madrid fan. I asked him what's Real Madrid's style and tactic. He said win. You know, in Europe, navigate away. If they have to counterattack, they'll counterattack. If they have to press, they'll press. If they have to keep the ball, they'll keep the ball. Whatever the match requires at that moment, they will do, to the best of their ability. And Jack, ultimately, right now, it's hard to crack this code. They just seem to get it right. They got Benzema in there. They got Vinicius, who's to me like insane. You know, you got Camavinga playing out of his skin right now. Kroos is going to drop in. Modric is there. Tchouameni, like so many different outlets that they have. And the biggest thing for them, especially, is the magic of, the Santiago Bernabeu. They could be down. If they get that second leg at the Bernabeu, it's inevitable.
And, we've made a video about it recently. Don Carlo, right? The guy's a boss. He's done it in Europe, multiple teams. This guy's not fazed by anything. He could watch his.
I haven't seen him blink in almost 10 years, Jack.
Osimhen could score a brace in 20 minutes, and I think Carlo would just raise that eyebrow a little bit, and we'd notice he's like the Rock, basically. We got the draw coming tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen at home, please do keep your eyes peeled for me and James to be able to preview these games. We will start taking a slightly closer look into the Europa League as well. Selfishly, because my team is still in it. Sorry about that, James. But also, some of the names left, James, are big kind of notable teams. If you've got the likes of Juventus, you've got the likes of Manchester United, we're getting the Europa League is no joke. It used to be a bit of a laughing stock. The Europa League is no joke these days at all. Conference League still needs some work. If you like what you've seen, drop a like on the video. Please hit that subscribe button as well. We are on the road to 1,000 and we'd really appreciate your help. Hit the bell as well. Get your notifications going for us just so you know when we do post something. If it's not something you want, you don't have to watch it. But if it is, you get access to it straight away. James, anything else from you, mate?
Guys, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.